This could be us.
So back to what I was saying.
Could be us.
All right, welcome back to the Mind, Body, and Laughter podcast. As we left off last episode, part 1, now we're going to pick up right where we left off, getting back to our conversation we had with the Georges. So thanks for joining in, and much appreciated all your support. Enjoy the episode.
How did you feel? Did you feel healthier? Like how?
Yeah. For me, because when I was, what I didn't say is when I was living at the Sportsman Lodge, because I was kind of like battling. I'm literally one of the only married guys at this point.
Right.
Like my crew, me, Morris Chestnut, Anthony Anderson.
Morris might have been married.
Well, Morris was married, but Morris he always lived out farther out. But most of my friends were single. So it was just hard as I was gaining this success and becoming like this new face, and all of the chicks is like, yo, if you wasn't married, I'd give you this right now. I got tired of hearing that, right? Like the hot starlets would tell me that all the time, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
So part of me was like, damn, I want to be married, but I don't want to be married. I want to be single so I can go be my old Eric, right? But I had asked myself when I was, I prayed to the Lord. I said, God, if I can't be a great steward over this opportunity, then take it from me. And that was kind of like the beginning of the re-elevation from career, family to once the balance of power started to shift, I really started to understand like what's most important. And after it took 6 months for my whole career to get shut down, because I'm thriving at that point. Even though I'm living over there, I'm working. And when I got on my knees and asked the Lord, it was about 8 or 9 months actually. My agent dropped me. My manager dropped me. The people who were like Warner Brothers and Paramount, my whole resume. I've got over 40 jobs just working with those 2 companies. They literally, it was like I died.
So you couldn't have both in Los Angeles or Hollywood. You can't have a successful career.
You can, but but he knew his mentality. Yeah. He wasn't gonna be able to do both.
I needed to elevate my family path, because all I was focused on was the career. The family was down here.
Right.
And you know how they say, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. The Lord gave me exactly what I asked for. So I've struggled since that moment on. It went from struggling. It went from working plentifully to struggling to not working at all.
Right.
But my marriage completely flipped. Marriage is up here now. Family's up here. Career's down here. And I truly believe that the Lord knew that I wouldn't have been able to have both.
We would have been divorced for sure.
I wanted to be in the streets.
I wasn't playing. And I'm not the one. I'm not the one.
He knew, but and listen, remind me, I'm 28, I'm 30, I'm 31, 32. So I wanted what my eyes were seeing, right? And I didn't value what was most important, because all of my friends who got married during that process, other than 1 or 2 couples of like 12, 13 couples, are all divorced. So,
and for those women who are listening to this podcast, you have to know your worth.
Right.
Your worth is the priority, and I've always thought that way. My parents raised me that way.
That's how you were groomed.
My parents raised me that way, so I gave him one chance. You come in here again, and I put him out. And my friends are like, oh
and you stuck to them, because I think if you wavered a little bit, I'm like, all right, well, you got one more chance, or you can sleep on the couch.
Oh no.
Or you really had to set absolute. Put your foot
and we
down.
As women have to, because a man will take advantage of you.
Yes, they will.
If you don't put your foot down and know that you know your worth, and know that if it's meant to be, it will be.
Right.
And that's why I understand about him saying earlier, if he could have froze and then came back later, because it's just something that you kind of almost have to go through a little bit. And fortunately, I went through it all. So by the time I came down to the marriage thing, I had already got a lot of it out my system.
Right.
Then my divorce, it actually started again. But
what do you mean?
Huh?
What do you mean it put you back when you? Tell me what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Well, obviously you wasn't listening.
No, I was listening. I want you to explain it instead of all this. What are you talking about?
You wasn't listening too well.
I was listening. I was.
So
after your divorce, you went back out in the streets again. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I said. But I don't know what you're talking about.
I just wanted to hear it a different way.
So what are you talking about? What difference does it make?
What I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
What difference would it make? What difference?
What difference?
You want me speaking in different languages?
Can you?
Yes.
Say it.
Act no more.
That was hot.
That was sexy, Ernst.
My God can relate. Relate.
But so I get where he was coming from because he met her early and he knew what he had.
I know, but the
Right,
flesh.
you
guys are talking about
he's
the
19,
flesh.
20,
Always
but he's
the flesh.
19,
It's always
20.
but okay, so
but we
fast
built a little
forward to
different.
when you're
We
30s.
built a little different though. We just built different. We built.
That's what you
differently.
want to tell yourself.
No, it's not what you tell. That's what it is.
Yes, that's
and
what it is.
see, that's the whole thing. Like y'all say, we can't understand y'all. Y'all not understand neither.
I understand.
It is. Obviously, you don't. If you saying it's
say
just
it
nuts.
like that again.
I'm saying it. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So we have a bit more of a tendency to fall into the physical, even though it could be with somebody. It won't mean a thing.
Right.
We can have this. I mean nothing. I don't mean nothing because I know who I really want.
Right,
But
right.
it's just something that it's always a nag in us for a long time until we get to the point where it's like, okay,
Does that
done.
go away eventually?
yeah, no, it will.
Maturity?
I don't even want to. I don't even
So
want to
how
call
does
it
it go
maturity.
away?
It just goes away when you start to realize, like, all right, I didn't.
So then, how do we change that so it happens earlier instead of later?
But
Could you say
should
it can
should it
be-
happen earlier though? That's the should it happen earlier?
I think
should
you're
they not?
programmed.
Yeah, should they not
Men
live
live
through and
longer
get that?
in marriages. Men live longer if they're connected with somebody and they're with someone. That's not the
I
same
think
for
that's
women. So to me, men should want to be married and have a connection because they will live longer. It's
It
better for
really,
their health.
it really all depends though. It really all depends on that guy.
Yeah.
It really all depends on their mind state. Because it's just for me, it's just and like by the time I got married the first time, like I was okay.
You only
I done
been married
did all
once.
that. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, and I did all I did, and then I went to marriage, and it was like it ended up not working out. And
But
it
if
was
you
almost
went
like
to
the
therapy-
chains got. No, I went.
Oh, you did go.
I went one time. I went very successful. I already knew what the hell I was doing. Anyway, I didn't want to go back. So it wasn't like we was having therapy. They want to have therapy because after you're in Jersey, they wait 18 months.
Okay.
Before, so you
So
go
you
through
really
therapy.
weren't committed to the therapy
Going
to make
back.
your marriage
No.
work.
I was committed to therapy, but not to making the marriage work. I talked everything out, but I also didn't know that. Yeah, I'm done. I checked out.
But you had to
I
go to
checked out.
therapy as part of the divorce.
Yeah, well, before you get divorced, you have to go through 18 months just to give you a chance. They give you 18 months just to give you
But
a
did they
chance.
tell you to go to therapy too?
Counseling.
Counseling.
So you
therapy,
went
and all
into
that.
counseling already with your mind made up. Nothing could have changed in counseling that you wanted to stay married.
No, but even though I talked everything out, I explained everything, and she was like, well, "What do you think? Is it a possibility?" And I was like, "To be honest with you, if I'm gonna be honest today, no. I'm good. I'm already checked out. There wasn't no sense in it."
You know what's amazing though is that even after the scales tipped, the Lord still blessed me to work. It just wasn't easy anymore.
Right.
It became like, because I really never had to work like real jobs. Like Hollywood sustained us a lot for a lot of years, right? Our insurances, everything. But then it got to a point where the Lord gave me just enough to keep me in it, but I had to work somewhere else to sustain, to keep money coming in. So that's what I've quit this business mentally many times because it's just a frustration of not knowing where your money's
It's
coming from.
draining.
It's a
That
mental-
Hollywood thing
how
is
he
draining,
does it.
man. Hollywood's
the
draining,
most
man.
tears
I like
I've
that.
ever cried in my life is from this business here. It's
Really?
the expectation of you think you have it, they tell you have it, your first position, we want you, and then you find out the next day they went with a dude look nothing like you. So it's heartbreak city every day.
Yeah.
You've never been told no more in your life than working in this industry. Entertainment of any
Entertainment,
sort.
sports,
it is
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
99% of the
Yeah,
time.
you got a lot of
So
no, man.
I do understand why so many people break, why so many people end up either leaving this town, leaving this business, or who
Cracking
can't face
up.
the fact and kill themselves. And I'm not condoning that.
Right, but-
but there's a
Absolutely not.
lot of people I know who have decided to kill themselves rather than go back to their hometown and be considered a failure. Because they were the it person
When they were working.
yeah, when they was, when they left their town, they was that it chick, it guy, and then they come here and realize that like they're one in a sea of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're not the best looking here that you was in Houston.
Right.
You don't have the best body when you come here because everybody comes here from all over the world trying to make it.
You
So
gotta have a big skin, bro.
Very.
I thank God that the Lord humbled me. He humbled me. He showed me, what was most important in my life, because I knew it, but the flesh is weak.
Right.
I wanted to be famous. I wanted that money. Like, for a minute, I wanted the fame more than the money. You know what I'm saying? Or than the opportunity. But then I just realized, like, it's so fleeting. You know what I mean? Like, nothing about it. I'm not supposed to be a star or a superstar. The Lord gave me enough to get a pension in this business, a second pension as a writer, small pension. But had I gotten what I thought I deserved
or wanted
in my 20s and 30s, we would have most certainly been divorced.
Absolutely.
She would have been gone back to Jersey, and I probably would have moved back.
She's like, absolutely.
I never wanted to be a deadbeat father or somebody that didn't grow
Anybody
up with
who know
kids.
me
Should have
might have been out.
Yeah. And this is a lot of what I was telling you as far as how I had to come to that realization with, even though being overseas was beautiful, blessing beyond disguise, I had to realize that. Because like the first few years I went over there, I couldn't even see what I was doing because I was so focused on getting back to the NBA again.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see nothing.
Yeah.
I saw nothing, nobody, but that super blind focus where
So
I
what
didn't
made
enjoy
you
it.
want to get married if all you were focused on was...
By that time, I was already 30 years old. So I
But
had
you still
already
had
kind of
12 more years in there.
Right, but at that time, I had already made the decision overseas. I started seeing what overseas was.
Oh, okay.
But before that, I wasn't seeing nothing.
Yeah, I know. I remember that's how you were in college. I remember that.
I really was. I really was. Even coming from a Division III school, I had time for nothing else.
Yeah, I know. I remember
School
that.
and ball. That was it.
I remember that.
I hear what you're saying.
Tanya, you know what else? What I didn't say though is, during our most critical times of our relationships over the years, from college through the present, like, I thank God, and I said this the last time, just for my friends. Like, I have the best support system. I have friends that have been honest with me at the most truculent points in my life, where somebody could have said something that maybe would have made me think otherwise. Like Herman, Talani, Tommy,
Even Jeff.
Bird
Back
at
in
the
the day.
time. I mean, guys that stood in the gap, because you need people to stand in the gap for you. When you're going through some shit, you need people who will look you in your face and tell you, no, you don't want to do that.
And he told you that.
Oh, many
And
times.
He told me.
Many
he told me
times.
that.
Even in college, he was like, yo, like I said, he went from thinking Taylor was
Herman
the
started
problem.
liking me better.
Yeah, she went from being the problem to, yo, don't you fuck this up, man. Taylor's a good girl. Like, they would not even allow me to be a part of some of the stuff that I wanted
Some
to
of the
do.
foolishness that they were
was
part of
right.
back
Yeah,
then.
we
Yes.
were, as a crew, as a
for
part
sure.
of. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure.
But you have to have.
Because I was at school with you.
Yeah, I know.
You have
You
to
weren't on
have
campus,
those people.
though.
I heard about you.
You
though.
ain't hear about
You
all
heard
of
about
it.
her.
You heard about
You
a little
heard
bit.
about Eric George too.
I wasn't
A little
perfect,
bit.
but
Johnny's like, I ain't gonna say nothing.
listen, I'm the first one to tell you I wasn't a perfect boyfriend, but a lot of it was.
But I
because
heard
wasn't
about Eric, but I heard more about Eric and Teal.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I did. I heard about Eric
Good
and
job,
Teal.
Eric.
Right. You don't remember me from school, Teal.
I do.
But
I
that's
remember
okay.
your face.
That's okay.
I remember your face.
About Eric and Teal.
Well, but I was
Yes.
like, Tanya, you was at K.
But
But you,
you-
what, you
about-
2 years younger than us?
No, she's
I'm
mine.
the same age
Same
as-
as us.
Oh,
We all
dang.
same
I was a
year.
commuter though.
Maybe that's why.
Because that's how me and her met in psychology class.
Okay.
Yeah, we met in class.
And then he asked me out and took me to Bennigan's.
Oh, you took her to Bennigan's? I got Pizza Hut.
She was cheating off my work. She was
Oh.
looking at my.
You were letting her cheat.
Yeah, I was helping out in class. Yeah.
But just speaking about helping out in class,
Oh yeah.
we
Oh yeah.
when
That's
we
another
first
thing.
started
Yeah,
dating,
he was getting that from both ends too.
we were at
she in
different
his face.
campuses the
Oh,
first
man.
year of our 2 years. First 2 years, we were at different campuses.
Was it
so
2 years? I thought you came in second year.
I came my junior year.
Oh, it's junior. I thought it
Yeah.
was sophomore year.
Mhm,
Okay.
junior year. So, as we've stated, I was very serious about my books, very serious about my work. Even though I still partied, I still had fun, but I was locked in so that I could have fun on the weekend. Even if I had to go to a party Friday night, get up, go to the library for 4 hours, 5 hours, so that I could go to the party Saturday night. So I called him after the end of the semester, and I'm like, "Hey, how'd you do in school?" Because it was his freshman year, and I was a sophomore.
Oh yeah, freshman year. Yeah.
He was like, I think I did all right. I said, well, you should know if you did all right. You should know your GPA.
And you probably never had girls asking you how you did in school. But you got this one with her.
She's like, well, what did you get? And I think at that semester I got like a 3.8. And I was like, I think I got a 3.8. And he was like,
you said you had a 3.8. What'd you say?
I was like, I was dragging it out.
He was dragging. I said, Eric, well, if I know my GPA, you could just log on and you could see what your GPA is. So he was like, well,
I don't want to do that right now.
Our systems, our computers crash.
I wasn't serious, in basketball. And, I'm not really studying like I need to. He's like, I got a 1.2. I said...
You actually said it?
Yeah.
I said a 1.2. I said, you might as well not do any work. I mean, a 1.2 is basically like you did no work.
You was on academic
you're not even going to be able to play basketball with a 1.2. Don't you need a 2.0? First semester, you're on academic. I said, look.
Yeah.
I like you a lot, but I don't date dummies. So I said, if you can't get your grades right, we might as well stop dating now. He's like, wow.
How many times did you say, well, we just don't have to be together. We don't have to date.
I said it quite a few times because he was acting up.
Whenever she challenged me,
that's what actually she needs to do for him. Yeah,
he needs to be challenged
all the time, yo. All the time. Yo.
Even today, I have to challenge him
sometimes. This Joker was. It can't even tell you how many times we almost got in a fight. Over something. We got in a fight about class, about to fight over her.
Fighting over me.
Yeah, food. Because he about to do some dumb shit, and I'm like, yo, bro, you better cut it. Yo, man, you my boy. I'm just telling you what it is. No, fuck all that. We about to go in. We about to get the draw, hands go up. They like, fuck wrong with that? Like Tommy coming. Fuck wrong with y'all? It's like, man.
But I ended up the first semester. I did nothing but party and drink.
Yeah, well, the first semester, but after that, when we actually moved in together, sophomore years,
right?
Now he was just
getting more serious, and I challenged him.
I had a 4.0 for 4 semesters in a row. Because I was like, I went to Union Catholic. I'm a good student. I just chose not to do shit. Okay.
So, when he told me that, I was like, look, let's see how it go next semester. But if you don't get these grades up, so I said, look, how about we do this?
You put him on probation.
I put him on probation. I said, let's compete. Let's both strive. Let's both push for a 4.0. Whoever gets the 4.0, whoever doesn't get the 4.0 has to take the other one out on a really nice date, dinner date.
Nice.
And sure enough, that next semester he called me before I even, hey, what's up? How you doing? I was like, I'm good. What's up? He's like, I got a 4.0.
So who took who out?
We both got a 4.0 that semester.
Gosh.
So we just shared. And I was like, but you know what? You should take me out because I'm a biology major.
Right. And what were you?
Political science.
Well, that wasn't no joke. You should have a 4.0. Oh, that's nice.
So we both had a 4.0, so we just went out together. And of course, we in college, we don't have no money.
Right.
His mom gave him money, and my dad and mom gave me money, and we split the bill.
You've been at this a long time.
Long time.
38 years.
Yeah.
38 years.
Yeah, I said, I shortchanged it. I said a little over 30 years. That's almost 40.
So
bad.
What do you have to... I know you said know your worth. That's so important. Set your boundaries.
Yes, absolutely.
And don't waver from that. That's important. What advice would you give to a couple
working on things? I mean, I think number one, and probably people have heard this 1,000 times, communication. You have got to say, for us. And for me, anybody who knows me, even if you're just my friend, I really don't have much of a filter. Sheree and Laura have to sometimes be like, Teal, maybe you might want to wait and say that.
Say it a little different.
Or say it a little different. So I don't have a filter. I had a filter in the beginning because I was 18, still trying to figure myself out, but I was still pretty outspoken. Oh, my daughter's calling me. So, communication, number one. Do not be afraid to say what you need to say to your partner, even if it's hurtful.
Right. Yes.
It's just about how you say it. Like, if you scream it, it's probably problematic. Mm-hmm. But there's been a few times we've had some difficult conversations, and we just talk about it. Like, look, we're going to have a serious conversation. I want to say some things that's going to be hurtful, and you might have something to say that's hurtful. But let's just say it.
Do you say it in that moment when you're upset, or do you come back again so that you're not...
There's been times we've said it in our moment, But then we have always come back and then had a calm conversation about what we said and what we meant by it.
And I'm going to add to what she just said about having a conversation. And when you have a conversation, remember, it always has to be both ways. It can't be you're going to say everything that you want to say, then you're not listening to what the other person said.
Absolutely.
Because then that's not really a conversation.
Right. So, I'm telling you what's going on and what I'm upset about, and then you come back at me instead of listening. So it's important to listen instead of having a comeback.
Absolutely.
You know, and I have to say that about you. You're a pretty good listener. And we don't really have that much going back and forth except when he says something crazy.
We on the show mostly.
Yeah.
That's when most of it come out.
Well, for us, it's just the opposite. Like, I'm usually calmer, and he tends to
You're
fly
calmer?
off the head. Oh, I am. I am much calmer.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get.
She says stuff, but
I can say stuff, but you have.
Yeah.
But like, he can go from A to Z, and he says crazy stuff. Like, we've been going at it recently, so we'll just
leave it at that.
Want me to leave it at that? Okay, I'll leave it at that. He don't want me to get into it, but he'll say something so off and so crazy, and then that's when I black out. Like, I'm not even one. I don't cuss.
So it takes a lot for you to get.
It takes a lot to push my buttons, but I don't hesitate to say what I need to say right away. But he will say something crazy, and that's when he makes me lose my cool.
Who's the first to say I'm sorry?
Him.
So you'll never say it.
No.
When you say it, you don't think
I
you
will
went
say
wrong.
sorry. Didn't I point to you right away?
Yeah.
Right, you both
He
did
does
that.
say sorry.
Yeah.
That's a gift.
The problem that the family, we as a family have, is I get tired of him saying sorry for the same things. So that's why.
You're just a habitual sorry person?
No, I just make mistakes. I make mistakes and I acknowledge my mistakes. That's what
But
I'm doing.
habitually you saying
But
you have
always.
things?
still able to admit it is a big thing.
That's what I mean.
Most
So
people
he
don't.
will admit his fault
people don't.
immediately.
No, I
but
can
I
appreciate
tell
a
him
man that
some-
apologizes. Yeah.
I just say sometimes I'm like,
Nothing worse
I
than-
appreciate your apology, but I'm tired of you having to apologize to the same things we've already discussed.
Right.
My biggest problem is I'm a fool for the people I care about. And I do too much. And it puts us in a bad space.
Yes.
But that comes across because I've been, knowing you for years, and your speech yesterday and hearing some things at your father's retirement, you're just so emotional, you're so passionate, and you're such a good person.
He is.
And I that's why your wife loves you, and she saw
do.
that, because the essence of who you are is such a wonderful man.
And I've said that. Have I not said that?
No.
I've said to him, one of the things that I love about you most is one of the things that I can't stand about you on the other side.
Right.
Because he doesn't know when to pull back.
Right. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
I can see that.
He doesn't.
Because you can just see the emotions and the love pouring from him as he's talking. And you're such a good orator. I could listen to you talk. When you and Herm did that first podcast together, I said to Herm, you got to get Eric back on there. Because I was like, I enjoy hearing
he's
you
very
talk.
engaging.
But that's
Yes.
my safe space right there. Because he
Yeah.
knows where all the bodies are buried. The good, the bad.
This one?
This one.
Yeah.
And Talani. We have stories and things that have happened between us and that we've shared. Like, I trust them with my life. So that's why, like, whether that camera, it felt like we was just talking. Like, we weren't even talking about no podcast and no camera. We were just talking. And that's why, and I agree with you, I love that very first one that me and him did together because there's such a reverence, man. We go back to, like he said, 10, 11 years old.
And you can see it.
And you feel, you know what I mean?
see
The visceral energy between us, man, I can't duplicate that.
No.
You know what I mean? I can't.
And
You
it's
can't fake
authentic.
it. You can't fake
It's
it.
authentic.
Right,
It's
right,
authentic.
right,
And
right.
your authenticity, that's why you all are such a good match for each other, because you can just feel
And we
the
balance
love,
each other.
and you balance each other.
Definitely.
So,
But I will say this, because you asked her and she answered.
Right, I was going to ask you the same
I
question
think
anyway. Yeah.
when you're with somebody long enough, and I think I mentioned this before, I'm going to say it again. Love is a beautiful thing and it's necessary in a relationship, but I don't think it's the thing that you stay together for.
No.
I believe there's levels to this shit, right? And probably about 5 years ago, when I hit appreciation, that superseded the love that I had
Yes.
for it. Because
That's exactly
sometimes you don't know. You don't feel what another person is doing on your behalf or for your family. And I don't know, I kind of like had like almost like an out of body experience where I just started to see all that Tila does for the family, right? Outside of just going to work, getting up sick, this girl don't miss a day. But just the
So
woman,
she can get her perfect attendance certificate?
yeah,
I don't care about that, but I just
yeah, the woman
just-
that
Now
she
you're-
is, the wife that she's been. You know what I mean? And like Tila told me years ago, she was like, look, you know, she's got this power job. I mean, when we first started, I was making all the money, right? The last 15 years, she kicking me in the ass. Like my career in terms of Hollywood has been dried up. So I'm teaching, I'm working as a social worker, I'm coaching kids, I'm training.
Doing it all.
I got 19 jobs.
and I'm okay with that.
Like a Jamaican.
I'm
right?
okay with that.
I don't make the same money she makes, right? But she's never emasculated me. She's like, I don't care if you're a garbage man. Just bring something in to help pay these bills. So, I mean,
Uh-oh. Here it come.
That was big to
No.
say that.
It was.
I need to hear that.
Well, you always
a lot of men
give
need
her
to hear
her,
that. A lot of men
her
need to hear
flowers
that,
now
though.
and talk
Seriously,
about
man,
how
'cause it's
special
just-
she is and how great she is.
It's so much
how
going
she's held
on.
the family together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much going on nowadays with
Yeah.
the black family fighting each other, the men
Yeah.
against the women, women
Right.
against the men.
Right.
You need to hear things like this.
Man.
I mean, you two
It
really
doesn't
should
matter.
write a book or have
Seriously.
some type of have something to show that it can work. 38 years,
It's-
starting from college, you know, and the trials and tribulations you've gone through.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot.
And we've just touched the surface.
Yeah.
Right. It's a lot. Cause
Well, now you're empty nesters.
They
And
will
and
be
now you
back.
get to enjoy
Yes.
each other.
We can.
But I'm telling you, you think, you know, that it's just, oh, I love him, I love her.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Like,
It's way
the
beyond
love
that.
is
It's
the
way
last
beyond
somebody,
Yeah.
that.
bro.
You know? 'Cause that fades
Yeah.
to an extent.
And respect is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Like
But
we had an episode where we were talking about the difference between love and love, choosing to love or falling in love type
Right.
of thing. And the ones that work is when you choose to love that person.
Right.
Because falling in love, like you said, it happens and it can go away
Fall in
just
love,
as
actually,
fast.
There's no control.
Right, there's no
Right.
control over that.
Right.
When you choose to love somebody, that's because you're making a conscious decision every day. I got to do this. I'm doing this.
Right.
I'm waking up. This person I want to be with. Yeah, she get on my damn nerves today, but this is who I want to be with.
Right.
Because you're going to get on your nerves. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got my head turned now. 'Cause it's like this ear here just
Burning?
it just itches. It irritates
Does
sometimes.
it?
Yeah,
Oh.
it irritates sometimes.
We don't even live in the same state.
And
If I irritate you, I got something for you.
Travels.
It travels through FaceTime wherever we do it, but you know.
But I think for men, like, because women are so consummate, right?
Yeah.
When a man hits appreciation, it's a different type of feeling. Like, you have to step back and really observe your life from, like, almost as if you were watching yourself. And it just really dawned on me, man. And I was like, yo, like, man, like, the shit that this woman has endured. We've had highs and lows financially, extreme highs and extreme lows. You know what I mean? I've taken us to the pinnacle and dropped us all the way back to the basement. Like,
And you still stuck there.
Hey.
And money wasn't the reason you were going to leave him. Money really wasn't. No, money was never ever the reason.
No.
It was all that other foolishness.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Money
that's
was
the
never
thing,
the
though.
thing.
It's,
Right.
and that's a big problem in a whole lot of other ones. That money thing is like.
But you communicated
gotta-
that.
You have to.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Listen,
We
she's
have
never had a
communicated
problem with me betting on myself. We have mortgaged this house multiple times, right? We have mortgaged properties we used to own. You know what I mean? We have lost a lot of money. I've made some bad financial decisions, right? I've tanked her credit. She's had 8 credits since she was 15 years old. I didn't give a shit about credit till I was in my mid-20s, right? Then all of a sudden, I was like, wow. You know, I used to have shit on my credit report like $8, delinquent $8.
I will say, when he
you know?
tanked us
I thought we was
quite a
over.
few years back,
I thought that was it.
I thought that might. It took a lot for me.
But you looked at him and you said.
But I mean,
"We'll get
I
through it."
love Eric exactly for the reasons that I can't stand him. I mean, he's got the biggest heart. He will give you his last dollar that he don't have in his pocket, right, man? He will. So at the same token, we've had issues because of that, but I know the type of person he is, and I know it always comes from a good place. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
why I
my
can
mother
sit
says
back
that all the
and
time
think
too.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She actually told me to tell y'all. How y'all
love
doing.
mama.
But she also said that about. She's like, one thing I will say about you you got some people. I mean, I've been in this world a long time, and I don't have people that I'm that close with like you have. You and Eric. You have you and Tamani. You have you and my boy. You and my boy G. You have a foundation of people that just, no matter what, no matter how far apart you are,
Right. We still
y'all
have
there
that
for each
connection.
other.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
there's no breaking that. Nobody's coming in between any of that.
No.
Never.
So you've definitely gone through some extremely stressful situations, and now we're here. What do you two do to combat stress when you feel stress coming on and you need to get through it? What are some stress relieving techniques for you?
Working out.
Prayer.
Yeah, she's very prayerful.
Reading the word.
Yeah. For me,
Talking to each other about what our stressors are. And that's the thing, like if I have an issue or he has an issue, we don't ever deal with it on our alone. We always discuss what it is.
and we date a lot too.
And we
Now-
date. We
now
still
that
date
the
a lot.
kids, like we go out. Like, this chick go to the movie 600 times a week. She got this movie pass, and but we go to happy hour
Text my
twice a
daughter,
week at
tell her.
least. We'll sit down and just sit down and talk. You
In my
know what I
bedroom.
mean? Because we haven't had in all the years we've been together. We've probably had maybe 4 or 5 really nasty arguments. We just don't, or we can agree to disagree. You know what I mean? And I know I'm growing as a human being because when I used to get pissed at her, I won't talk to her for the rest of that day, and then I wait for her to go to work and be like, "Yo, my bad."
Then he texts me.
Right?
I get this 10-paragraph text message.
But now, when we argue, like 30 minutes later, I'm good again. Like, remember I said, I know I'm growing in this relationship because
38 years later.
listen,
That's
because
a
as a
wonderful
man,
thing.
we have our plans. Maybe I'm getting lucky tonight, and then I had this argument. I'm like, damn, I ain't getting it tonight. Yeah. So I just gotta make y'all laugh.
Because you know you got a plan.
Yeah, so
Now.
we had a little plan. We got into a little argument, and so I'm like, okay, so now that's over. I come in the room. She done showered, got her smell good on. She laying there. She was like, so.
They argued.
Anything
That
happening
argument
today?
went
And
out
I'm like,
the window.
I
So we
thought we wasn't doing
ain't
nothing. And she was like,
Shit.
who said that? I thought we resolved it. And although I was good, in my juvenile mind, thinking how we used to, or how I used to argue, if we was pissed, okay, I'm gonna go sleep in Mackay room or sleep on the couch. But our arguments never last more than a day.
Right.
But when we have our disagreements, like 10 or 15 minutes later, we're like, okay, you hungry? What you want to eat? and we had that same exchange. But then in my crazy mind, I'm thinking that, okay, ain't nothing happening tonight. She go in the room, get all, sweetened up, and she looking at me
Sweetened
like,
See, that's what
And
we
I'm
just
like,
said. Because I'm like,
how old
hey,
are you?
I know we argue.
I
I know we argue, but hell with this shit. We can solve this later.
But that's how it's tell you. It's crazy
That's
as
men and
it may
women.
sound. It's crazy as it sounds. That's how I know that our relationship has evolved.
Right.
Because I would just be mad and it's like, I ain't talking to her till tomorrow. Or like, we walk around here like we don't even see each other for like a day. And then, all right, my bad, listen, I'm tripping. Whatever. But the other, like last week, that we literally got into a nice little disagreement about, and it's always my family. It's my family. It's always some shit with them while we fighting. It's always my family. Just FYI. So I hope my mother ain't watching this, but it's always something between my family that gets us arguing. Probably 80% of our biggest fights have something to do with my family. Okay, but I appreciate now that we solve it. We say our piece because we agree to disagree about a lot of stuff.
We
Tina
have
sees
to.
things some ways, and I don't
see eye to
because
eye
I
on a lot of
suffer
things.
from cluster headaches that are debilitating to the
right,
point
yeah.
where I will run and jump out, run into traffic when I get these headaches. That's how bad they are. I never sweat the small shit. What most people stress about, I don't stress about.
Right.
I don't care about a lot of bills. I don't care about credit card debt. And again, I'm not saying I want to be irresponsible, but I don't stress out about
You
it.
don't stress about things you can't
Shit
control.
I can't control. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
But my argument is we can control some of
right,
it.
some of it. But in
A
fairness,
lot of it, actually.
in fairness, I'm just saying that.
Right,
A
I'm
lot
not- yeah.
of stuff that
Right.
people stress about, I don't stress
No,
about.
that is very true.
Because I've been suffering with this debilitating condition since I was 19 years old. And if I have so many thoughts of killing myself during these episodes of these headaches.
Which he would not do.
Suicide headaches is what they're known as, cluster
Oh,
headaches.
wow.
And I've been going through it since I was 19. Every
Yeah.
2 to 3 years I get them. They're getting progressively better now that I'm getting older. But it was to the point that it will take you places that you could not even imagine, because it's 3 to 4 months of constant throbbing in your head.
Oh my God.
Multiple
bad.
hours a day.
It's very bad.
You know, no breaks, no nothing.
It affects the whole household
Listen,
when he's going through
listen. So when I started dealing with those headaches, I realized that nothing else matters to me.
Right.
When my health is being challenged, you can't tell me about no money.
No.
You can't tell me about nothing, because those are the points to me in my life where I say, yo, God, I just can't wait to get on the other side of this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so what if I'm $10,000 in debt, in debt on something?
Right.
You know, by the grace of God, the Lord has always provided. Like the dumb shit that I do with helping people and blessing people, the Lord always gives it back to us.
Yes, that's how it works.
It is tenfold.
That's how it works.
We have had 13 or 14 people live in this house with us in the last 24
Been helping
years.
people forever.
A day, a month, a week, a year. That is our ministry.
Right.
I finally realized that that's how God uses us. We are transitional people for other people.
Right.
Wow.
And whether they're family, friends of family,
friends
friends of family, there has been 14 to 15 people that have lived in this house that were not Eric and Teal, including the young man we adopted
Right.
at 14 years old, who now is 25 years old. You know what I mean? Like, God uses us as a conduit. And now we've decided we're not doing that anymore. We're not missionarying nobody else. It's
We
like
say
we're
that.
done. But that's how the
But
Lord-
still, that's where
Right.
you.
We'll
That
see.
is- that is how God uses
Right.
us. So I don't have time to worry about the small shit. You know what I mean? Because I know my God. I know He bigger than my credit card. I know He bigger than any experiences that's going on. You know what I mean? He has always blessed us. He continues to put His hand on His family. Our kids are phenomenal. You know what I mean? And I couldn't ask for anything more. I really could not. Just more security, because living in this state for the money that we make collectively is crazy.
Right.
Like we
got
could
to
be
get out of
month
here.
to month with like making $250,000 a year. That sounds crazy. You know what I mean? So we've become so conditioned to living here and spending this ridiculous, ungodly amount of money that it's like, yo, do you know what we could be doing?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? We don't.
So that's another conversation.
You know what I mean? Like we're always evolving, but I would just say for any male that's listening to this, man, just try to elevate yourself to the point of appreciation. You don't need 38 years to get to appreciation.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean? You just need a heart. You just really need to look at that person, that woman that you're with,
Be honest with
and
yourself.
really see what
And be
she's
honest
Be
with
doing.
honest with
yourself.
yourself.
It's just,
Yep.
hey,
That's
listen,
the killer right there. That's the
there's
one.
too many beautiful women out here that are single right now. And oddly enough, man, so many of my friends who are divorced now, my male friends, every single one of them dudes is like, man, I wish I had my family still.
Yep.
I wish I was still with my wife. You know what I mean? And these were also some of the same guys when I was on my bullshit, telling me, don't you lose that girl. Don't you mess that up at home. Outside of the Hermans and the Talanis, I'm talking about guys like Anthony Anderson last night. Like him showing up at the party last night meant everything to me. Because if you knew what we've been through together since
Right.
'98, standing in the gap for each other, sometimes calling each other and just listening and let the other one cry about some shit, then get off the phone, be like, nigga, I love you, click. Love you back, click. Like, sometimes it's just the unspoken word.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we all, listen, we're human. We all going through something. Whether you show it, whether you say it, you are all going through something. And it's just, who do you trust to share that with?
Right.
Right.
Well,
Well,
that
we're
is
gonna
beautiful.
definitely. So we're gonna close it up there tonight. But before I sign off, one thing I want to take from what you guys have just finished with, when you have a problem, that neither one of you do it alone.
Absolutely.
You have the problem. You can't hold back. If you say, "So what's going on with you, babe?" Oh, nothing. Can't.
No,
It's not going
doesn't
to,
work
because it's
that
going to
way.
end up coming back anyway, and then it's going to multiply and become two,
Bigger issue
three,
than it
four
was.
time fourfold.
Absolutely.
So get it out the way, share it, discuss it. It may be something you agree on, maybe it's something you disagree on, but it's a matter of making sure you guys are getting through it together, good or
Yeah.
bad.
Yep.
So
Amen.
Agree.
appreciate you guys for joining
Thank you,
in.
guys.
Love you
This
guys.
time we did good. So for all the audience, I'd like to welcome, thank you again for joining another episode, Mind, Body, and Laughter podcast. Don't forget, hit those
You didn't
subscribe.
say Tanya and Herm.
Okay, say it.
With Tanya and Herm.
Let's get those subscriptions up.
You're right.
Keep those comments coming, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Appreciate you all.
Thank you to the Georges.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Love you.
This could be us.
So back to what I was saying.
Could be us.